Well, it's funny you should mention the word propaganda. We've discussed this before, and forgive me for repeating myself, but do you know the derivation of that term?
No, I don't, George. That's why I have you on
Well,
this broadcast.
it's
Tell me those things.
okay. Okay, well, it was coined about 400 years ago, roughly 1620 or thereabouts, by the Catholic Church. It means the propagation of the faith, i.e.,
Oh,
the
yes, yeah.
Catholic faith.
Okay, well, propaganda. And then, of course, the Inquisition was named after that, too. So, yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's funny, I've mentioned this to you before, but Edward Bernays, the nephew of Sigmund Freud, wrote a book in 1928 called Propaganda. And he said, so almost 100 years ago, 1928, he said, until the previous decade, what we're commonly called World War One, the word propaganda was used exclusively in a religious context by the Catholic Church.
Wow, that's huge. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and he said, if you read, have you actually read that work?
No, I haven't. I probably ought to. Edward Bernays was just another perverted Jew working for the Pope, and he was the one that came out with this crazy diet of bacon and eggs for breakfast, just all this protein. And so he's the one behind that one, Edward Bernays.
Well, I mean, you could thank him for, okay, prior to the 1920s, virtually no woman ever smoked, at least in America, in public. But thanks to him, it became socially acceptable for women to smoke. Also, thanks to him, because of the flappers, it became socially acceptable for women to have short hair.
Yep.
Prior to then, women almost never cut their hair. It
Yep.
was usually
Yeah, they wanted to be women. They wanted to be feminine. They wore dresses, had long hair. That's biblical.
Well, and of course, now Edward Bernays lived from, it was over 100. He was born in 1891, died in 1995. And oh, yes, he was he was of an Austrian Jewish background. Now his daughter Anne, who was born in 1930, is actually still alive. She's been an adjunct professor at both Boston College and Holy Cross.
So Edward Bernays' daughter has been an adjunct professor at 2 Jesuit universities.
Correct.
So that shows me the connection between Edward Bernays and the Jesuits. Absolutely. So what he did weakened our culture. And but see, when the new right comes to power, they can blame the Jews. Another Jew, Edward Bernays, look what he did. And that's just what the Jesuits want.